Let's talk about Eddie being added to Cold War Zombies in the final DLC for Zombies map of this game. We're going to go through all of the evidence info we have. Maynard or Toten teases him in the Easter egg ending cutscene. Craig Houston himself also pretty much confirms that we will be seeing Eddie in this game. So let's go through all of the info we have here for Eddie in this game. We're about 400 subs away from 83k, so if you guys are new and would like to subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that, and be sure to drop a like on the video as well. Now, we've been talking about Eddie or Edward Richtofen as we once knew him being added to this game for a pretty long time now. It would be cool just in general to see him as an operator, the different outfits he could have in the bundles, a Primis outfit, an Ultimis outfit, and we'll talk about all of that later on in this video. But with the recent release of Maynard or Toten and the conclusion of that Easter egg, it's becoming increasingly more likely that Eddie will be introduced into the Cold War Zombie storyline very soon. Most people that know about the storyline are pretty certain that the director of Requiem in the Dark Aether storyline is in fact Eddie. In the Easter egg ending cutscene of Maynard or Toten, we could see the director of Requiem at his desk. You can tell this for a couple of different reasons. The obvious one is that he has a mug that says best director ever or something like that, so that's an obvious one, but also he has the group memo up on screen, and there's other storyline implications as to what is going on here. Valentina is no longer a threat. Klaus has completed the mission. Maxis might be a threat now to them, which is just obvious because Maxis has been having issues with Requiem for a couple of seasons now, ever since she was corrupted by the Dark Aether in Firebase Z. We kind of knew that was going to happen, but pretty much here, the director is getting all of this information. A lot of people, when they first saw this, did think this was Hudson and that the director of Requiem could just be Hudson, which maybe could be cool, and it definitely gives me Hudson vibes with the shirt, but all other things are pointing towards this being Eddie, the director of Requiem, in this storyline. So let's go through a bunch of teasers in Maynard or Toten, teasers in the intel, and stuff that Craig Houston said himself about Eddie in this game. The first thing that I think is very apparent in this map is Klaus's relation to Richtofen. When he was first fully revealed and we could hear him for the first time in the Inside Maynard or Toten video a day before the map came out, we instantly all thought of Richtofen. We were joking on stream that maybe it was Eddie but in a robot suit, or Eddie's brain was transferred over to this robot because he had so many qualities of Richtofen from the past. The German accent, the witty humor especially, it all just seemed like him, and it's kind of weird why that's the case, why that's in this map. And the Gamer Revolution made a good point in his recent video about how Klaus's artificial intelligence could be based off of the director of Requiem, who is assumed to be Eddie. If that's the case, that would make perfect sense there. Now, moving on to the intel and storyline for the Dark Aether overall, Eric Maynard and Caljitsu made a pretty good video about this topic a couple of days ago titled "Who is the Director of Requiem? Cold War Zombies Endgame?", where they talked about all of the evidence that points towards the director being Eddie. They go through a ton of interesting facts about how in the intel, specifically a Requiem formation letter, which was pretty much the United States' reasoning for creating this group to fight against Omega and the threat of new Dark Aether dimensional breaches all around the world, this mysterious director has his name redacted in this document and most other documents as well. In the video, they also talk about Carver of Requiem, tension between the director and Carver, and most people in Requiem not knowing about the secret documents that Carver saw on the director's desk about the One and these crazy Dark Aether forces. Their theory is that maybe the director, potentially Eddie, was leaking this information about the One directly to Omega because of how huge of a force, how big of a deal the One actually is in the Dark Aether, and that would kind of scrap the whole Carver is a mole theory. And we don't have confirmation on any of this, obviously. It's just from the intel, and we're kind of theorizing based off of this intel. They're making educated guesses as to where we may be going in the future and what's the reasoning for being so secretive with this information about the One. But these facts don't necessarily prove that this is Eddie anyway, but it shows that this director will have a huge role coming up in this final DLC for Zombies map, battling potentially the One, having to deal with a corrupted Samantha Maxis, and we'll probably understand as to why he's been so secretive and what his true plans are. Why is his name redacted in all of these different documents? Why has he not been a part of this game at all? And it could just be, a small part of it at least could just be that Treyarch simply don't want to reveal Eddie until later on in the game. So his name being redacted everywhere, him as a director being so secretive, all just plays into that role. So that would be pretty cool to see anyway. His big reveal, why he's been so secretive, what his plans are, that all should be happening very soon in the final DLC for Zombies map. Now, Craig Houston of Treyarch kind of already confirmed that we would be seeing Eddie in this storyline very soon. He did an interview back with IGN India in February earlier this year where he talked about the Dark Aether story and Cold War zombies in general. I'm going to read two important things he said here and how it pretty much confirms again that Eddie will be in this game very soon. He said, I think the thing that's really important is that the previous incarnations, which we call the Aether story, which involve Richtofen and all of those characters, that came to definite end at the end of Black Ops 4 season, and we were passionate about not rewriting his story, says Craig Houston, lead writer at Treyarch. One of the things I said was that those characters did what they did to try and create a singular world where zombies didn't exist, and unfortunately, because of the experiments in World War II, they were only half right. This is no longer a time-traveling, multi-dimensional story. This is grounded in Cold War. In addition to this, Houston states that the events of Black Ops 4 are meant to lead into the current spat of zombies content found in Season 2 and Cold War in general, I guess. At the end of BF4 storyline, we had two clear characters that needed to be referenced going forward, and that was Maxis and Edward Richtofen, the young versions of them both, says Houston before hinting of what to expect from future updates. So we have shown people what Maxis is up to. Any other characters that might reappear will be dealt with in later seasons. Again, as most of you guys know, at the end of BO4, the Tagged or Toten Easter egg ending cutscene, you see these two characters walking into this new world, Samantha, Maxis, and Eddie. And as he said here, we showed people what Maxis is up to in Firebase Z and so on. Now, other characters that might reappear will be dealt with in later seasons. The only one left here really is Eddie. Now, he could be referring to maybe even other characters, more characters from the past that are maybe somehow still alive in the Dark Aether, and that might be for a different video, but Craig Houston is clearly telling us here that Eddie is returning. We should be expecting to see Eddie very soon, and that is super, super exciting. Now, the thing is, and he made this really clear, that the Aether story and all of the characters from the past, that all came to a definite end at the end of Black Ops 4. This character here will be Eddie, not Edward Richtofen, not Primis Richtofen, Ultimis Richtofen, but Eddie. He's most likely going to be a completely different character than what we saw in the past storyline. We had the news a while back that Richtofen's original voice actor, Nolan North, said he would no longer be voicing the character in this game, and we all thought that meant that there is zero chance now to see Richtofen in this game, but we have Frank Woods in Black Ops Cold War, and he has a new voice actor that sounds pretty similar to the original Frank Woods. So what is stopping Activision and Treyarch from getting a new Richtofen voice actor? Pretty much nothing. It's almost a guarantee, and it makes even more sense now because, again, this Eddie is a different character, a different Eddie than what we saw in the past. So it actually would make more sense for him to have a slightly different voice than before. I think for the most part, they're going to keep the spirit of Richtofen in this character. He most likely will have some type of German accent, and he'll probably have the same type of witty humor that Richtofen once had, but it might be slightly different. Again, it's a different storyline, different character, but they're definitely going to bring the Richtofen vibes into this new Eddie character, which is going to be super, super cool to see. Now, moving on here to the operator discussion. It's always a fun one because when it comes to the storyline, it seems like Treyarch are fairly serious about making it all make sense. Things in the Dark Aether usually happen for a reason, but with the operators, things just don't need to make as much sense. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for Rambo to defeat Valentina and help Klaus in the Toten Easter egg ending cutscene, but that's just how it is now. So we will of course get the Eddie operator added to the game at some point in the near future. Samantha Maxis was officially introduced into this storyline in Firebase Z, but her operator in the store didn't release until a few weeks after the map came out. So Eddie here most likely won't be introduced until the final DLC for Zombies map, which will be around mid-September. So his operator might not release until late September, possibly even early October, which is a pretty good amount of time from now. But moving on here, his outfit that we'll most likely see as the operator will probably be what we saw in the Maynard Toten Easter egg ending cutscene, a Requiem director suit. Could be a pretty cool look for an Eddie operator here, but he'll probably also have a ton of other skins as well. You can look at Samantha Maxis. We already had 3 new skins here. The first one was Firebase Z's Easter egg skin, the Bride skin in the store, and a new one releasing soon. Eddie will definitely be one of those characters that just has multiple iterations of his operator in the store, different skins that may not make any sense but are just cool to have. And this is also the way for Treyarch to just throw a Primis or Ultimis fit on Eddie for the memes, and the explanation could be as simple as these artifacts of the old crews were found floating around in the Dark Aether and ended up in this world and on Eddie. Just like when Samantha Maxis came out of the Dark Aether at the end of Firebase Z, she had several parts of the old Primis characters' outfits on her own outfit. It could make perfect sense there, and if they don't want to explain it, who cares? I think once the storyline is all over, at least for Cold War Zombies, having a Primis Eddie operator bundle in the store, even if it doesn't make sense, would be pretty cool to see overall. So we'll see what happens here very soon. Let me know down below. I'm super hyped. I want to see Eddie. I do want to say it's going to be a different character. I've been trying to make this point. It's going to be a different voice actor. He's going to have a different type of vibe, but I feel like he's going to bring the spirit of the past Richtofen. They know it's still Eddie, and they know people are going to think, okay, German, witty humor, kind of sarcastic, so they're definitely going to bring those vibes into this character. Just keep in mind, he's going to be slightly different from before, and hopefully people aren't expecting the straight-up Edward Richtofen character to be added to this storyline, which I think is a good thing. We don't want to see the same characters over and over and over again, so Eddie with the vibes of Richtofen, but completely as a new character in this game, seems like a good bet for this storyline. But let me know down below, what do you guys think about Eddie in this game? Any theories, ideas you guys may have for the final Zombies map in Black Ops Cold War? Let me know down below. There are 2 videos up on screen that may interest you, so be sure to check one of them out. Really do appreciate it, guys. Shout out to the YouTube channel members as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out, guys.